Hey everybody, this is the Centaur channel coming right back at you. And what could I possibly have for y'all today? This is going to be the kind of a top 5 and more kind of list, or the best of the best green fragrances. Now, green fragrances are simply lovely. I wanted to make this video because I think a lot of younger guys don't know about green fragrances, or maybe have smelled a polo green or something green that their grandfather used to wear. And they say that maybe that's an older man or a gentleman's green fragrance, and they don't know of any of the newer green fragrances that are still quite modern. They're still quite lovely, and they're out there. And I think they can have a place in your collection, and maybe you should consider them. So this is what this video is about, and let's jump into it, guys. The first one we have is Aspen. I'm just joking with you guys. I wouldn't do that. Now, this fragrance only lasts like 20 or 30 minutes. It does smell clean and soapy. It can smell kind of like fresh leaves. But honestly, I just spray this on my laundry just to freshen it up. It does smell quite nice for a fragrance freshener. But I wouldn't go, this isn't going to last on you. Maybe you could carry a decant. This stuff's super cheap, $8, $9, $10. So that's Aspen. But I was just joking, guys. There's definitely an amazing list here. Without further ado, we have Mugler Cologne. Mugler Cologne isn't going to be anything new to the fragrance world, or it might not be shocking to you. But Mugler Cologne, if you haven't been convinced yet, I hope to convince you. It's talked about smelling like a bar of soap. It certainly is very fresh and very soapy, kind of like Irish soap, if you know what I'm talking about. But I think it has a citrusy side to it, especially in the first half of the fragrance. It's certainly quite citrusy. I love that uplifting, clean freshness. I don't think it smells exactly like a bar of soap, but probably the closest we're going to get to one that is very good. Mugler Cologne is one of the best fragrances for the money. It smells like a second skin kind of fragrance, where you might not smell like you're wearing a fragrance. You might smell like you're just really clean, really fresh, maybe like you just came out of the shower. So nothing's wrong with that. And some people are especially sensitive to colognes, especially if you tend to overspray, which you got to learn the right amount and the right situations. But this one is one of those ones that you can really pull it off just about anywhere. Perfect for work, casual every day. When you're close to people, if you're on a flight, this is the kind of fragrance you want to wear. It doesn't project heavily, it projects enough, and it lasts on me about 4 to 6 hours. I don't think there's a projection problem or a longevity problem. Some people, seem to say they struggle with it, but I don't have that problem. Hope you don't. So honestly, Mugler Cologne, for the money, is one of the best green fragrances. It could easily fit in your collection. A lot of people, it's a staple. They buy it over and over, and they use it with good reason. So this is one of the best. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I'm biased. I absolutely love this fragrance. It's one of my favorite fragrances in the list, and it happens to be green. This is Guerlain Homme Parfum Intense. Now, Parfum Intense is a very deep green fragrance, but it still is aromatic. So it still has a lightness to it and an airiness to it, but it has depth behind it. And that's the kind of fragrance that can be very seductive. So it still has a nature that's light enough. It's not dark or particularly smoky or deep and earthy, but it's almost there, and it lingers. This one doesn't particularly project heavily, but with those really good seductive fragrances, a lot of times they have very good sillage. This is one of those fragrances. People will smell you when you're walking past them, or if you're sitting or in a certain place for a while, you'll kind of get a bubble around you. And this fragrance does last a good while. I get anywhere from 7 to 9 hours out of it. So, what does it smell like? It smells like mojito, which has a unique kind of sharp green lime alcohol smell to it, which is lovely. I get a little bit of rum too, so it's quite a boozy green fragrance. So overall, it's deep and boozy and green. and that's, I guess, the best way to describe it. There's quite a few notes in it. You could pull them up on Fragrantica, but this is simply one of the best. It's still available, even though I think it is discontinued and it's getting a little harder to find. So this one's quite lovely. I simply love it, and I would recommend it for dates, or maybe if you're trying to seduce, you know, this would be the kind of juice for you. So this has been Guerlain Homme Parfum Intense. Amazing stuff, amazing. Now I want to jump to two fragrances that are kind of similar to one another. But I guess I'll talk about this one first. This is Terre de Hermes Eau Très Fraîche. Now, for green fragrances, any of the Terre de Hermes by Hermes fragrances would do you just wonderfully. The EDT and the Parfum have a little bit of that bitter or old orange smell off the top, which smells a little bit like an orange that was left out in the sun for a couple days, which is still quite pleasant. But the Parfum projects heavier and lasts a good bit longer. For some people, especially if you're going to be close to them, the Parfum edition can be a bit intense. This is kind of the opposite. Terre de Hermes Eau Très Fraîche has a very fresh and lovely orange in the opening. So it's a good bit fresher. It's a good bit more lively, I think. Maybe more appropriate for a younger person. It doesn't last as long. I get 4 to 6 hours out of the Eau Très Fraîche, and its projection and sillage aren't bad either. But it's simply lovely. Even when it dries down and it might seem simple to your nose, it's a real compliment getter too. Eau Très Fraîche is something special. I think I don't know if it's a hidden gem or if people just don't know about it, but this one can be worn all year long. It's very versatile. It smells a little bit classy or a little bit elegant with the vetiver and the Terre de Hermes DNA. So this is a very good one, guys. For the younger guy who's just getting into maybe his first vetiver fragrance, this is spectacular. Admittedly, this fragrance isn't particularly green, but I think it fit had a place or had a fit in this list. It just works. So Terre de Hermes Eau Très Fraîche, spectacular. Now the other one that's similar is Daniel Hossier's Kaleidoscope. Now Kaleidoscope, interestingly enough, has kind of the same DNA as Terre de Hermes, but is a good bit sweeter and a good bit more playful. It has a eucalyptus note, which kind of smells watery, maybe like a deep watery plant would, if you've ever cut like the stem of a rose. It kind of has that smell to it, so it's quite interesting. Now this one is niche, so it's expensive and it's a little bit different, but it's lovely. It's got a great presentation to it. Kaleidoscope is very versatile. This is the kind of fragrance I recommend for the older gentleman who doesn't like modern fragrances that are fresh or modern fragrances that are sweet, or even the younger guy who's more of a very serious guy who likes Tom Ford Grey Vetiver, especially the EDP. If you wanted a party fragrance, this would be great for you. It still has the seriousness, it still has a little bit of the elegance and the refinement, a little bit of the earthiness in a way, the vetiver and all, but it has that playful nature to it. It's more approachable, it's more fun. And nothing's wrong with Terre de Hermes or any of those fragrances, like Dunhill Icon as well would be a great one for this list. But honestly, this might be the best interpretation of them all. So that's just my opinion, and I'd encourage you to sniff this out if you really love Terre de Hermes and we're getting into niche, and maybe you ran out of Terre de Hermes. So for the younger guy, if you have a little bit more coin and you wanted something, maybe that was the best of the green fragrances, I think this one could, compete for that place. It's really good, guys. So longevity and projection definitely aren't bad, and the sillage is quite good on this one as well. So this is one of the ones that seems like it disappeared on you or went away, but it didn't. It's still there and it's still making an impression. So that's Kaleidoscope by Daniel Hosier. Now I got 2 more fragrances for you guys. Just 2 more. This one is quite interesting. Oh man, I'm bringing a new one to the new fragrance to the fragrance world again, or the fragrance game, especially here on YouTube. And I hope that's something y'all enjoy, and that's something that I certainly enjoy doing. So this is called Regime des Fleurs. The fragrance is called Willows. So if you simply search Willows fragrance, you can probably find it. And I just have this, I believe they're 15 mils by Scentbird, and I'm not paid by them or an advertiser. I only have a few of them. But that's how I tried this fragrance. I had never heard of it before, and I wanted to try it. Now this fragrance has a similar composition to Dolce & Gabbana the One. It doesn't smell like it at all. But when fragrance heads, or a lot of us fragrance people use composition, they mean how the fragrance progresses and how it smells as it changes over time on your skin. So this one has a lot of that full body, a lot of that smoothness, a lot of that charm that Dolce & Gabbana One has. And for a green fragrance to have that, oh my goodness. When I first smelled this, I honestly had not liked or tried enough sweet fragrances, and had not learned to appreciate them yet as much as I should. But it really grew on me over time. It smells honestly a little bit like cotton candy in a way, and a little bit of a simple yet quality green fragrance. It has a little bit of depth to it, but it doesn't have any of the vetiver like the others. It is a little bit more on the expensive side as well, but that one, Willows, would be maybe the best green date fragrance. It certainly would be one that would be good on close encounters, even though it is green. So I was simply amazed that had been made, and somebody who is a perfumer had been able to pull that off. So for you young guys, I definitely think if you're willing to put a little bit more money forward, or even buy the little Scentbird, just to wear for, whenever you want kind of a unique fall or spring night fragrance or date fragrance, I think even going for the little Scentbird would do you well and get you kind of, get your nose on your first niche fragrance and try it out. I don't think that one is difficult on the nose or hard to love. So that one is definitely recommended by me. So I would feel ashamed if I didn't have this in a top green list or a top modern green fragrance list. Admittedly, this one is discontinued. It's hard to get, and it's not going to be for everybody. Again, if you're a younger guy, the Eau Trace Fresh, the Mugler Cologne, maybe the Guerlain Parfum is the way to go. And for the seductive, the Willows, for the playful, maybe the Daniel Hosier. But this one is the character. He's unique, he's special, and he's the kind of guy, maybe like a Clint Eastwood kind of guy, that doesn't come around very often. But when you smell, a guy who wears this kind of fragrance, and you smell him, something's different about him. So this is Antidote by Victor and Rolf. Now this fragrance is considered one of the best discontinued fragrances that's ever been made, at least in my opinion, and I know there's a cult following for it. But what does it smell like? What does this discontinued, often expensive fragrance now smell like? It's a very complex, honestly a very complex fragrance that can be quite loud. It projects very well, lasts a long time. It has a little bit of a medicinal little kind of vibe. It has, you can tell that there's a bit of lavender in it, which smells smooth and calming. It has a little bit of spices. It has mint. You can tell there's mint in it. It almost has like the feel of like menthol or absinthe, something kind of like again that green kind of medicinal kind of feel. But it still has a depth to it, even though again it's aromatic. And this one is probably one of the longest lasting and one of the best projecting green fragrances you can ever find. Not only that, but this fragrance, again, has a beautiful smell, and it might not be for everybody. It's quite unique. I think you would need to test this, get a sample of it, or smell it from somebody before ever committing to buy this blind. No matter how much I love it, or some of the people who really enjoy it love it. Because it is getting expensive, it is kind of hard to find. This is kind of like Dolce & Gabbana, the Homme, the first one, and what is that other one? Envy. Those are so good, but they're so coveted, and they really are for select noses. So they kind of should be in the hands of the people who really love them. But if you're the unique guy, maybe you're a very interesting younger guy who has to have something that nobody else has, that nobody else is has ever smelled before, or you really want to stand out in a really unique way. This is going to do it for you. This is really going to help you stand out. It's really going to smell interesting. Again, I would encourage you to be cautious on the trigger, guys, with this one. I went one time to class wearing this, and I'd worn 2 sprays, and it was choking people out. So, at least, especially in the opening, the first hour especially, this stuff's kicking. So, that's Victor and Rolf Antidote. I appreciate that you've stuck around with me to the end of this video. This has been my top green fragrance list for you younger guys. I certainly hope that you'll find one that fits in your collection. There's definitely a lot of good ones out there that aren't vintage or don't seem so outdated maybe to you personally. These ones certainly are some of the best. I would highly recommend that you try them and smell them. And again, these have my seal of approval, if that matters anything yet. And I enjoyed making this video for you and with you. And this has been the Centaur channel. And I can't tell you how much fun how much fun it is and how much joy I get when I see y'all commenting and liking. So if you did enjoy this video, please like, and please subscribe if you'd like to get more of my content, which I make regularly, and hit the bell for notifications to get the fragrances as soon as you can, or these videos as soon as you can. Not fragrances, but I hope you'll forgive me about the joke about Aspen, but some ladies do like it, which is funny enough. So if you want to go that route, I wouldn't blame you. But this has been the best of the best green modern fragrances for you younger guys, or for any guys really. Try these out. I'd like to hear your thoughts. Let me know what your favorite green fragrance is out there. I would love to know. And let's get that conversation started in the comments below. So y'all have a great day. I hope y'all enjoy it. This has been the Centaur channel. We're part people, part fragrance, and this is our passion. So until next time, see y'all again. Bye.